Hello, this is Mark Horton, creator of American Delusions. This is the introduction to my first in-depth series, Capitalism. When I began to study the workings of the U.S. economy with relative intensity 5 or 6 years ago, I quickly realized that the standard U.S. economic theory, the sort of thing taught to undergraduates in Econ 101 and subsequent courses, was very far from satisfactory. It didn't reflect my own experiences in business over more than 30 years, and it certainly was not helpful in understanding the changes in the U.S. economy during that time and now in the present moment. This led me to explore a range of non-standard approaches, non-standard meaning not found at the University of Chicago, Harvard, Yale, and so on. A key conclusion for me came from reading the history of the development of capitalism. This convinced me that the standard economic model that treats the economy as a separate machine, not connected to the rest of society, is simply silly. How can we account for the facts of the rich and corporations devoting such enormous energy and money in shaping public opinion and public law and policy to defend their status and shape the playing field for the resulting flow of money from the economy? To use the terminology of Karl Polanyi, and you can see the reference below, capitalism is embedded in society. It's not separate from it. This means that in order to understand capitalism, one has to acknowledge and then study the interconnections between the economy and the society in which it is embedded. This suggested to me that a number of social systems and structures be included in our understanding of how the capitalist economy is working. Here's a list of the ones that I'm considering. Political culture and values, political system, federal, state, and local, the judicial system, land, raw materials, the impact on the earth, workers and families, housing, education, healthcare, infrastructure, U.S. empire, and inequality and race. So we'll explore many of these during this series, but first, let's turn to a few key observations of the capitalist system. These observations are shaped to describe the U.S. situation, but are broadly descriptive of capitalism throughout the world. Capitalism is very unstable with booms, busts, recessions, depressions, and chronic speculative excesses. The capitalist system operates on a very unequal power relationship between employers and employees. This depresses wages in the absence of unionization and other controls. Capitalism tends towards monopoly, restricting competition, driving wages down, and reducing innovation. Capitalism concentrates wealth and income in a very tiny fraction of the population, leaving the vast majority with little or negative wealth and low to unsustainable income. Capitalism controls the investment of most financial and other resources. A tiny, tiny fraction of human beings make decisions about where investment is made for what purposes. These investments serve the needs of these owners of capital to the exclusion of others. Capitalism captures government, so political power fundamentally serves the interests of the wealthy and corporations. Only in capitalist countries with strong unionization and social compacts are these effects somewhat offset. Capitalism features ubiquitous, I would argue compulsory use of external costs. That's pollution of every imaginable type, exhaustion of the earth's resources, injuries, deaths caused directly and indirectly. This is the get someone else to pay for as much of my production as possible strategy. Capitalism works on a short time horizon for investment. Publicly traded corporations notoriously act on a quarterly basis. Others must be profitable within 1 or 2 years. They are all very risk averse, and they don't support basic research. Capitalism does not provide for housing, healthcare, education, and other family needs. It sucks capital away from these needs and through political controls prevents governments from making adequate investments in these areas. After all, what is an economy if it doesn't provide for these basic needs? Capitalism distorts, changes, and creates human demand and consumption by shaping it to corporate needs through marketing, now absolutely ubiquitous on the internet. And capitalism requires endless growth on a planet with finite resources. There is no steady state model. This is really part of the crisis of global warming. In future episodes, I'll explore these observations. Thanks for watching this episode of American Delusions. You can also visit us at americandelusions.com.